Hello and welcome to this fish and chip review with me, Sam the Chip Man, bringing you all the latest fish and chip shop reviews. This time we are at Ancells Fish and Chips. I have tried these before, it's been a while. Let's go and taste them. Also, for every like this video gets, I get one chip. Well, you guys get one chip as well. Anyway, let's go in and enjoy our fish and chips. And here we are in my car right now, as you can tell. So we've got our lovely fish and chips in a brown paper bag, and we've also been given some napkins and the traditional pitchfork for our fish and chips. So let's get our fish and chips out. So here is our fish and chips in a chip style wrap, as you know, like when you go to the chip shop. Oh, there's a chip there. I'll have to try that one in a bit. So in terms of fish and chips, let's have a look. Now this is a small cod. That is not a small cod, that's a monster. That is a monster. Look at the size of that cod. Look at the size of that cod. It's a monster. It's so flaky. It is so flaky. As I put my fork into it, you can hear the batter crunching. So it is crunchy batter. Let's grab a piece. Nothing more than a lovely piece of fish. Let's try this. Let's get a bit more fish onto it. Now, I don't know if you guys can tell. I'll rip a bit off. Actually, that's, I think I botched that. I don't want to go back to the chippy, they're closed. As you guys can see, it's glistening. So it means there is moisture in the fish itself. And it looks so lovely. It tastes good as well. Really, really good. But yeah, there's no bones in it. It's glistening, it's perfect. What about the chips? Now, where was that chip that I confiscated earlier? Oh, it must have gone walkabouts. But let's take this chip. Yellow in colour, a bit of skin on it. It's no problem, like I said, like I've been saying. And in terms of size, it's a good sized chip. In terms of the thickness, it's really good thickness. Lovely white fluffy potato in the middle. Wow. I know I keep saying it for my videos, but wow. This is why I love doing what I'm doing. So, good size. Very good size. Yeah. Problem that I've got is the price. For small cod and chips, it's £8.25, which is above like the average cost. But we'll get into it when I go to the summary, which should be in about 5 seconds. So guys, I'm gonna head back to the flat, and I will show you, and I will get to the summary. Peace. And we're back from Ancells Fish and Chips. Again, thank you so much, Ancells Fish and Chips, for the lovely meal. Really do appreciate it. So let's get into the summary. So what I ordered is the usual small cod and chips, which came to about £8.25. It's a bit expensive, but I'll get to that in the later on in the video. And in terms of eating and takeaway, it is a takeaway only. They do not do delivery, but you can call and collect. In terms of the hours, they have lunchtime and dinner hours. Lunchtime hours being 12 to 1:30 p.m. and dinner hours 4:30 to 8:30 p.m. Now, in terms of cash and card, it is cash and card. But that's all there is to it. So let's get into the first part of our summary, which is the location and parking. Now, in terms of parking, there is a lot of parking and it's free. So you can go in, get your fish and chips and get out with no problem whatsoever. Location is a bit tricky to find at first, but when you know the area, you can easily spot it. It's in the Ancells Farm estate in Fleet. So you've got to look for the parade of shops and you will see it. So in terms of location and parking, bearing in mind that the location is quite difficult to find, parking, there is plenty. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Let's talk about the overall appearance of the shop. Now, overall appearance is basically your standard chippy. There is space at the front, and it is very bright in there. Again, you can put your advertisements in there as well. They've even got like those traditional like clipboard things made of chalk, basically showing like special offers and that, if they had any. But I'll get to that a bit later in the video. So in terms of appearance, bright, a bit welcoming. I would say I'm going to give it 3.5 out of 5, really, because even though there's a few things that could do with it improvements, like it could be a little bit more modern, but if we're going for the style, then it's not a problem at all. But other than that, 3.5 out of 5, pretty decent score. Okay, so let's talk about the service. Now, on the billboard thing, the old style like billboard thing, it did say food was cooked to order. So when I ordered it, they were cooking it to order. They said it took about 5 minutes long. They also helped me answer some questions as well, such as like, is there any vegan stuff on the menu, loyalty scheme or anything like that? But like I said, I'll get to that in the video later. But yes, very helpful. And they were very efficient. They did offer salt and vinegar, which is really good. Well, that should be standard in every fish and chip shop, I feel. So in terms of service, service was a smile, very friendly. I'm very happy to give it a 5 out of 5. Okay, let's talk about the menu. Now, there was a lot of stuff on the menu, not gonna lie. There was no vegan option, by the way. As I said earlier in the video, I'll tell you guys if they had any vegan stuff. They didn't have any vegan stuff, but they did have vegetarian options. They had the veggie burgers. They also got chicken on the menu as well. And of course, you got your haddock, cod roe, cod obviously, and your fish cakes. And they had the Savoy battered sausage, etc. So menu is great, and for an extra point, it's not like a modern like menu style, it's more like chalkboard. So I would say I'm going to give the menu, even though there was variety, I'm going to give it an extra point for like the chalkboard style, because I think that's quite unique in terms for chip shops. So I'm going to give it a very, very decent 5 out of 5 on the menu. Okay, now let's talk about any loyalty schemes or basically any discounts and that. Well, for the 3rd time on this channel, our survey says and because there's no loyalty scheme or any discounts, that means the score is, you guessed it, a big 0 out of 5. Right, let's talk about the cost. Now, at the beginning of the video, I said it was £8.25, and bearing in mind small cod chips, that's quite expensive. Is it worth for the taste? Maybe. But other than that, the cost could have been a bit cheaper, but again, nothing I could do about that. So I'm going to give the cost, bearing in mind it's quite expensive, I'm going to say 3.5 out of 5. Let's talk about the packaging. Now, when they gave me my food, it came in a brown paper bag, as you saw at the beginning of the video. And that was very, very handy. They didn't charge me extra for it. In terms of the wrapping the fish and chips together, it was your traditional chip paper. Now, if it had a art style on the bag or like on the chip bag, I probably would have given it extra points, but at the end of the day, it kept my food warm. So, you know what? I'm not complaining about that whatsoever. So in terms of packaging, it could have been better, but again, it kept my food warm. So I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. Right, let's get into the food portion size of things. Literally, let's talk about the fish. Now the fish, it was a small fish, but it was a massive fish. It was a massive fish. I was like, if this is a small portion, I wonder what the large portion is. It must be a whale. No, I'm joking. Small portion of fish. I would say it's definitely got that crispy, crunchy batter, and the taste of the fish inside of the batter, really, really tasty. I would say the batter itself is kind of like a sweet batter, but again, I guess my taste buds are a little bit different. But if you do visit this chippy, let me know down below what you personally think of the cod batter. In terms of the moisture, it's a very moisture fish. It was quite greasy, but at the end of the day, it still tasted brilliant. So bearing in mind the portion size, tastiness, moistness, quite greasy, very, very excellent fish. And all these things I've just said are compliments, by the way. So I'm gonna give it a solid 4.5 out of 5. Let's talk about the chips. Now, chips themselves, I would say the portion was almost like a standard portion of chips. Other than that, chips tasted brilliant. In terms of thickness, they were lovely and thick. They had a bit of skin on, but again, that's not going to deduct points or gain points, but it's quite interesting. In terms of length, I would say quite lengthy chips, but not too long and not too short. Bang to rights. Golden in colour, and soft, but they were not crunchy. So bear that in mind. I'm also going to give the chips 4.5 out of 5. Right, now let's talk about the overall portion of fish and chips. Now, I'm going to say the score at the beginning of this clip because it makes sense. 4.5 out of 5 overall for the fish and chips. Again, really lovely fish, crispy, crunchy, soft in the middle. Chips, soft and fluffy and light. A bit greasy, but mind you, the fish was greasy as well. So I would say job well done, Ancells Farm. Right, I'll calculate the total score and I will see you in a bit. All right, so I'm back, and after the total score, I'm going to give out of 50, 37 out of 50 for Ancells Farm. Location is hard to spot, but parking is brilliant. But like I said, it's in the Ancells Farm Parade shop in Fleet. Food was brilliant. I love the traditional menu with chalkboard, and really lovely people behind the counter working there as well. So yeah, this is my video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Ancells Fish and Chips, for the delicious meal. Thank you to my friend Becky for doing all the editing. Thank you to my fiance Vanessa for filming, and of course, thank you viewers for watching and subscribing to my channel. If you haven't subscribed or liked any of my videos, please do. It will help the channel out a lot. Alright guys, I have been Sam the Chip Man. You guys have been amazing, and remember to feast out.